Welcome to Traveling Kangaroo. Today, we're hopping into a critical issue that's impacting millions of Americans right now, the sudden collapse of SNAP benefits and the hunger crisis it has unleashed across the country. Stick with me for the next 8 minutes as we unpack how this happened, why it matters, and what it means for families struggling to put food on the table. Let's jump right in. Imagine standing in freezing cold, waiting in long lines that wrap around parking lots, churches, and stadiums, not for a concert or a sale, but for something as basic as food. This is the harsh reality for tens of millions of Americans after SNAP benefits vanished overnight due to a government shutdown. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is the lifeline for 42 million people who rely on it every month just to keep food on their plates. But this wasn't just a temporary hiccup. It was a full collapse caused by political gridlock in Washington. When Congress fails to pass annual funding bills, programs like SNAP lose their legal authority to distribute benefits. Thanks to a law called the Anti-Deficiency Act, the moment funding runs out, payments stop, no exceptions. And this freeze came at the worst possible time. Inflation has pushed grocery prices up by 21% over 3 years, rents are soaring, and wages aren't keeping up. Families who used to receive $300, $500, or even $700 each month suddenly saw their accounts drop to zero. For millions already stretched thin, this was like pulling the rug out from under them. Parents skipped meals so their kids could eat. Seniors rationed their canned goods. And kids went to bed hungry in the wealthiest nation on earth. Before this collapse, food insecurity was already a massive problem. Nearly 44 million Americans didn't always know where their next meal would come from. People working full-time jobs, seniors on fixed incomes, households juggling multiple part-time jobs. SNAP was the last safety net preventing many of these families from sliding into full-blown hunger. So where did everyone turn when SNAP benefits stopped? To food banks. But here's the catch. Food banks were never designed to carry the weight of a federal program that injects $100 billion into food assistance every year. Within 48 hours of the SNAP freeze, food banks saw demand surge by as much as 45%, with some places seeing lines triple overnight. Donations dropped because grocery stores and farmers were also squeezed by inflation and rising costs. Volunteers faced heartbreaking decisions about who would get food and who wouldn't. Many food banks ran out within hours. The system simply couldn't stretch enough to cover millions suddenly left without aid. This crisis isn't just about hunger, it's about economic ripple effects that hit local communities hard. Small grocery stores lost up to 20% of their monthly revenue from SNAP-related sales. Some had to cut hours or even close entirely, leaving neighborhoods with even less access to affordable food. Farmers markets lost customers, forcing some smaller farms to reduce production or shut down. Hospitals saw more visits related to malnutrition and dehydration, adding costly burdens to an already strained healthcare system. Schools experienced surges in children needing free or reduced-price meals. Some districts reporting increases up to 20% in just weeks. But amid this crisis, misinformation spread fast. Many people believed SNAP was riddled with fraud and misuse. The truth? Less than 1.5% of benefits are trafficked or misused. Most families use SNAP exactly as intended, to buy basic groceries and feed their families. The real problem isn't fraud, it's an outdated system vulnerable to political standoffs and administrative failures. SNAP was designed for a different America, one with stable jobs and predictable incomes. Today's workforce is more fragmented with gig work, irregular hours, and fluctuating paychecks. This makes income verification difficult and sometimes causes eligible families to lose benefits temporarily due to paperwork delays or system glitches. Add in millions living in food deserts with no easy access to fresh groceries, rising transportation costs, and digital barriers like limited internet access, and you have a system that struggles to meet today's realities. Children are some of the hardest hit by this collapse. Over 30 million students depend on free or reduced-price school meals for consistent nutrition. When SNAP froze, schools saw jumps of 12% to 20% in meal participation almost overnight. Hunger affects more than just stomachs. It impacts kids' ability to learn, concentrate, and thrive. Effects that can last a lifetime. So where do we go from here? The collapse of SNAP is a clear warning sign that America's food assistance safety net is broken and vulnerable to political gamesmanship. Each shutdown or funding delay pushes millions deeper into hunger and uncertainty. It's time for policymakers to rethink and rebuild SNAP. making it flexible enough for today's economy, accessible for all communities, and shielded from political deadlock. Because when SNAP stops, hunger spreads fast, and it's not just a personal hardship, it threatens our entire economy and future as a nation. Thank you for hopping along with me today here on Traveling Kangaroo. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives into important issues affecting people everywhere. Follow us on social media and visit travelingkangaroo.com for more stories and updates. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your kangaroo spirit strong.